Okay, well, Frank, we're
Yes, sir.
going to ask you the same question here. You know, we know you got some nice cars, and we want to really know which one's your favorite.
So I'm gonna say probably. Well, let me just start by
What do you have?
saying
Yeah.
what do I have.
Yeah. Let's
Thank
get
you.
into that.
So I've got a couple of exotics. I've got a Mercedes G63,
Okay.
and I've got a Ferrari 458 Italia.
He ain't playing,
Big
boy.
boy. Big boy.
And then I've got a 71 C10, little
Okay.
short bed.
Nice.
And then I've got a 70 Chevelle, which I brought today. What else? Man, I just got rid of a Corvette, an old Stingray that I
You
bought
got
my
rid
wife.
of it?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you about that.
I'll tell you what happened, man. My wife, she had to have this car for her 35th birthday. So I jumped through all these hoops, and I get her the car, and she's so excited until she drives it. She's expecting that it's going to drive. At that time, she's driving a supercharged Range Rover. And she says, "This car's just not fast enough." I say, "Babe, we can make it faster. It's going to cost a little money, but we can make it faster."
Definitely.
So she says, "Okay, well, let's make it a little bit faster, and I'll drive it."
Okay.
So we did some tuning and tinkering, and it got a little bit peppier. We changed the carburetor and things like that, and she still wouldn't drive it. So I think once we had a kid, she said, we're just going to keep it so when the kid gets old enough to drive it, we'll let him have it.
Okay.
It's like, no, you know what, just get rid of it. And I'm tired of looking at it because I'm forcing her to drive it, every so often to keep the juices flowing. And anyway, long story short, I sold it about 2 or 3 months ago.
So, quick question: does that free up space for something
Absolutely.
else?
Absolutely.
Okay, I got a good
Absolutely.
question for you. I'll let you get back
Okay.
to it, but I got
Yeah.
another question for you
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, and so I think that's it. I always try to picture my garage and remember what's in it. But yeah, that's it. And I would say my baby's the Chevelle. Carlos will attest.
Good pick. Good pick.
Look. It's funny because when we do things, Carlos knows it's like pulling teeth. You gonna bring the Chevelle?
I had to persuade him today. Like,
Yes,
hey, I'll pull
yeah.
that car out, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Now, is that Chevelle your dream car, or is it just your baby because of what it is in your collection?
So, it's a combination of both. The Chevelle was one of those cars that I've always aspired to own. And, cars that I've had along the way that I bought and sold and make a little money, then, as you step up to the next. So that was always, my motivation to get to that car. So before that, I started off with a Cadillac Eldorado that my uncle bought new. My uncle bought it new.
What year?
It was an '84.
Okay.
Okay.
Red.
Oh, see,
Red.
you got your
Red.
attention.
Yeah, 4100 motor in it, and he bought it new, and he's got 2 boys, and for whatever reason, man, they had no interest, and I did. I was just waiting for the opportunity, and so I got it, and that's where I really started kind of tinkering and getting into the hobby. And then I had a guy who was interested in it. His dad actually owned a Lincoln Mercury dealership.
Okay.
And he always wanted a Cadillac, but could never own one because of his dad's Lincoln Mercury store. And so his dad passed on. They sold a dealership, and man, he just started collecting Eldorados. Wow. And he was a theater teacher down at LSU, and he made 4 trips down to take a look at the car before he bought it. And I tell you, that last time, he'd wake me up every Saturday morning. He wants to drive down. Like, man, I do not feel like getting up and meeting this guy for him to come and kick tires,
Yeah.
But the last time he said, "Hey, listen, I'm bringing a couple of students. We're going to drive down. We're going to go ahead and make the purchase." And he actually drove down, and he brought 2 of his Eldorados. So that was pretty cool because he wanted me to see his collection was starting. And that's what really made me say, you know what, it's okay to have more than one car. And then that kind of expanded my thoughts to kind of have. But I sold that car, and I bought a convertible Riviera out of Boston, a 30,000-mile original car. Got it here, played with it. Got to the point to where I was kind of scared to drive it. People,
Why is that?
People would run up on the side of me. You need to sell that car. You want to sell that car? Just the wrong kind of attention for me.
Okay.
And so I ended up selling the car, and then my next purchase was a 1979 Pontiac Trans Am.
Nice.
The Trans Am.
Now we
And-
talking.
Yeah.
See, Frank got a lot of cars.
You've been in the game for a
A
while.
little bit. And then I don't know if you ever heard of Butler Performance.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got intake and heads from Butler Performance. I put a 455 in it, Pontiac 455,
Big
and ended
block.
up big block. Ended up selling it to a guy in the UK.
Really?
Ended up selling to a guy in the UK, and I got all the money
Worldwide.
for it and enough to buy my Chevelle.
Hey,
Yeah,
what a
that's-
story.
yeah.
So when you got that Chevelle, what did it look like at first?
So it wasn't bad. The body was good. It was black. It had a small block 400 in it. It was an automatic Hurst shifter. The body was pretty much intact. It just wasn't the color that I wanted. But I played with it. You know, I took my time with it. You know, I'm one of those people, I want to drive it while I work on it, you know. And so I would make little changes just to kind of make it, you know, look a little bit more presentable. And then got to the point to where, you know, you can only take that so far.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you got to go ahead and now you got to unbolt everything and really take it to the next level. And I had a vision, man. You know, inspired by guys like Carlos and YouTube. You know, you watch YouTube, you see, oh shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so and just like everybody else, man, my mind says one thing and my pocket says the opposite, right? And so it's just been really a labor of love, and I think this particular car is the car that I've invested most in, not necessarily financial, but the mental anguish of dealing with shops and you know,
Up
trying to
late
find
nights,
parts
yeah.
and all of that stuff. And you know, a lot of times I think when you're building a car, you know, and it's taken a long time, you go one direction and then something new comes out and you're like, oh crap, man, I could have waited. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Got this. And you know,
Now
so
you
it's a
gotta-
lot of that.
You got to figure out which way do I continue on my path or take this new hot route.
Absolutely. So, but a lot of that, you know, came with that particular car, and so because of that, you know, I would have to say that that's kind of my baby, because
Okay.
just, you know, just what comes with
That's a
it.
nice choice. That's a nice choice.